All right, Ryan, good to see you. Remind people how we originally started talking.
We met at HYROX Toronto in 2024. It was
Mhm.
very new to me at that time. Um, I, funny enough, had just started listening to your podcast as I was excited for the event, just trying to like pick up anything hybrid and HYROX media that I could. Um, and funny enough, I saw you wearing like a media vest at the event. You shot me a message about finding some time to chat, and you asked, do you listen to hybrid fitness media? And I said, I don't think so. I didn't put the face to name at all. And then I pulled out my phone and looked on podcasts, and I've been listening to your podcast like all that week leading up. Anyway, we had a good chat post event. We chatted with Morgan as well, just in the venue there in Toronto. But yeah, sports come a long way since then.
We
And
were we were
yeah,
sitting on the floor,
we were.
and I had you guys ask each other questions, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a very specific reason, though. I feel like there was a specific reason before that, like why we started talking, and now I can't remember. I have to go look. Like there was a reason we reached out.
I had won the open men's event in Toronto. That could have been it. I don't know.
All right, now I'm going to scroll all the way back. Oh my goodness, let's see. I can't remember why, but yeah, October 2024. So here we are, Ryan, all these months later, and the sport has grown. Um, you're now sponsored, according to your Instagram handle, by First Form Proven and Sweat and Tonic.
Yeah, that's a gym here in Toronto. We have, or they're a HYROX affiliate. They've done a really good job of decking out the gym. But a buddy of mine became a manager of the space, and I just saw it as a really good opportunity to take advantage of one of the nicest facilities, in my view, at least in Ontario, maybe countrywide, to build out more of like a high performance offering. So we're doing that right now, getting creative with how we can do that. So that's relatively new. And then sponsor wise, I'm doing some stuff with Kalo, which is a competitor to
The
Aura.
ring?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not Kayla, by the way. This is my wedding ring that I've been wearing for 26
I was
years.
going to say.
But which is why I don't wear one of those. I don't like this. If you notice, my only piece of jewelry, right? I'm not tatted. I have no piercings. My only piece of jewelry is my wedding ring. And I've tried a couple times, and I just like I can't even sleep. Like for a Mace Fit, they wanted me to sleep with their thing, and I can't do it. I take off my watch at night. Anyway, I know what Kalo is. Is the short example.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely feels a little weird to have on. I'm sure if you're used to taking the watch off, I can definitely relate to that. But I've become so obsessed with the data. It's like hard to take that thing off at night. If I need to charge it, like for example, today, charging the watch at work, just become so fixated on the data that they provide. Right.
Right. No. Listen, I enjoy it. I do enjoy the data. Like I work with Stride, and I've started to look at my data that way, and it's cool stuff. I'm just very particular about what I wear. What can I say? But I knew Kalo when they started. Like they had nobody. Like I don't know what year they started, but I want to say 17 or 18.
Really?
Yeah. I think I talked to the guy once. I think I talked to the owner once. I forget his name. And then you're with E3, which is what's his name? Who runs that?
Jared Graybeal.
Yeah, good old Jared Graybeal.
You known Jared for a while?
Well, let me look at my conversations with him. I enjoy my age. I enjoy the wisdom it's brought me. I enjoy the you care about, you focus on what's important. You care about nonsense a lot less. But man, do I forget stuff. So yeah, we haven't talked a lot. It looks like on Instagram, but I know we've met him. So anyway, he's that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he works with Cole Lindsay, who I know you had on recently as well, and then more recently, Fred Dubé.
Lindsay Besagato?
Yes.
So is that all Canadians?
Yeah, all Canadians. I think we're all actually with Proven as well, so we seem
Oh,
to keep going back to the same pots. But yeah, Jared's our guy.
that's awesome. So, I guess when I met you, you were doing okay. What is it that you're kind of looking to do now? Like you have like what are your 26, 27 goals as we gear up for the first race of the season in America in DC? Are you going there?
Yeah, I guess to answer that question up front, I will not be in DC. I will be in Acapulco, Mexico that weekend, hunting down
Are
some
you
points.
are you dodging DC, Ryan? Let's be real. Are you dodging? Are you
I,
sandbagging?
I am dodging. I mean, it's hard to admit anything else when I'm going to Mexico when I could just jump down to DC. But I do have a friend with family down there, so free accommodation certainly helps. But I'll be going to Mexico to start the
Well,
season.
my respect for you just went up. If you said, "No, man, I just love the weather," I'd be like, "This fucking guy." So listen, do what you got to do. Play the game. If the game is I go here instead of here, like whatever. I don't judge. You
Yeah.
got Adidas sending Cole to fucking Japan, dude. Like holy shit, that's not cheap, right?
No.
And now he's staying on for China. So like do what you got to do to make it work for you.
Yeah, that's the thing. There only are so many opportunities. I feel like in North America where it's going to be less competitive fields. I know that DC field is going to be packed, and then through October it'll be busy too. So
Tampa, Nashville.
exactly, yeah, we can get into that too. I'm
It gets good for me. I love the content. Like I like to go where the action is, right? I like to go I like to race personally. I like to see the community. I like my friends. But yeah, man, if you got a stacked field in the men's pro, like cool, let's go. Friday night or Friday late afternoon, wherever they fucking make you go. Makes it's good for me. It's fun. Like this is my favorite thing to do, Ryan. I don't know how much you know about me, but this is what I actually enjoy the most doing is talking to people. So
Mhm. Yeah, well, I'm fired up. You got another venue down in Tampa that you're not going to have to travel quite so far for. Are you going to Hamburg?
So I'm a maybe on Hamburg. And every time I say that, I think to myself, Matt, you're going. Why do you keep saying maybe? And so for me, like the majors to me, it's like, okay, go to London. Like I was already set for London, wasn't going to go to the cruise. Set for London, of course, any American major. And I've already, as soon as they announce world champs, I'm like, I don't care where it is. I'm going. They could announce that on fucking Mars. I'm going. Then this Hamburg thing came up, and I sometimes I work directly with sponsors on events. Sometimes I fit my own bill because it's about getting good content, right? Um, and I currently don't have a sponsor lined up for Hamburg because then that just makes it a no brainer, right? But I'm probably going to Hamburg.
Love that. It looked electric last year. Were you there last year?
I was in the other one last year, the other German one. What was the other German one that was so good?
Well, that was Hamburg to
Was
start the
it?
year. Yeah,
No, it wasn't.
it was.
Was it a
Hamburg
major? I wouldn't have gone if it wasn't a
was.
major.
It was
It,
when Ronkovic beat Dylan.
why do I want to say it was Berlin? It was Hamburg?
It was Hamburg.
Oh my god, I'm not then I'm done. I'm going because I loved my hotel. Going to Germany is what got me on my journey of contrast therapy because they had a sauna that was really hot and a pool that was really cold, and I did it every day, and I was like, this is the best. And I've been searching for that cold since, and I haven't found it. Like the YMCA pool, tepid, lifetime pool, maybe it's slightly colder, but you need ice cold, right? Without like outside of a tub, I mean. And I think Europeans are just tougher, so they're like,
I was gonna
this is
say.
a freezing cold fucking pool. Now, listen, I spent a hell of a lot for that hotel, so again, tough to do. But I no, I went to Berlin after. That's right, because I had a few days. I got to go to Croatia after, and I had 3 days to kill, and so then I went to Berlin, also a great hotel. But
Mhm.
I guess I'm going back. Why did I think it was another German city? I can't believe didn't remember.
Yeah, they don't double down on like the same elite or majors, previously majors cities too often. But what I remember from that event, the venue looked packed, and I don't know. You have a better sense of how different geographies respond to or are fans of the sport. But watching that event last year and having the expectation that every major was going to have that kind of fan turnout, it was like a packed venue. So that was cool to see.
It was the first time they did a separate room. So there was the main room and the separate room. Now it's all coming back to me now. Can't believe I've forgotten this whole time. And they actually did your band. Your band was electronic, and I thought they were going to do this for every event. Or maybe that was Glasgow. They brought it out. I can't remember anymore. I think it was Hamburg. And so there was a pass to get in the main room, and then there was a separate pass to get into the Elite 15. And then there was even another thing if I was a VIP to try to get to the media thing. It was a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, it was. Now I'm remembering. It was the first major of the year, and that's why I went. And now I have to go back. Damn it. Now I got to go find flights. So listen, I have a lot of great sponsors. Let's hope I can continue to get more sponsors who help me send to these trips, because they are pricey. I can't take a coach seat across I can't do that for 8 hours. I got to go at least one level up, if not two, to it's hard enough I can't sleep. So anyway, again, one of the only downsides to being older. I used to just fucking roll up and sleep in a ball anywhere, and I can't do that anymore.
We got to make it happen. Yeah, I'm hoping I have a reason to join you on that trip to Hamburg. Going back to your
what do you need to do? What do you need to do in Acapulco?
So right now I've got a win. So 1:105, 2 seconds, and then 2:95 point finishes. I sit 35th right now. And a few times will drop out between now and then. I think I'm 27th for the cut date right now. A second would move me up, but a first would make big moves. I think I'd land in 20th on the leaderboard.
Now we're in roll down territory.
Right, for the elite field. So
you're going to go. Are you going to go no matter what if you're D1?
If I'm, and we've kind of joked about it, some of the first room crew, the mid 15, we're calling it.
Oh, I love it. I'll spread that. I'll spread that.
Yeah.
Something my kids would say. You know, Ryan Douglas, he's mid.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping it hit. But yeah, if we've got to go to the mid 15, I think we'll give that a crack. But the hope is win in Acapulco. Toronto is a few weeks later, and that'll be before the cut date for Hamburg as well, as far as I understand. And we'll see what happens there. I know.
So you'll come in second to Colder. I'll just go ahead and say it.
Or Fred.
Or Freddie.
Yeah, tight little competitive group up here. I'm trying to chase those guys down. But a second or a first would be an improvement at both those races. So that's kind of where the focus is right now. And then lock up Hamburg and London and just go from there.
We've been talking a lot about this new system, prize money going up for the races, but down overall. How are you handling all this? What are your thoughts? As a mid 15 athlete, how do you think HYROX is doing?
I've seen my perspective is one that's very much tied to poor performances at the events I've been at with payouts, unfortunately. Jack and I raced in Phoenix and didn't take much money home anyway. And then DC was quite a letdown of a weekend from a personal performance perspective. So
Jack D, we're talking about?
Yeah, we raced together last year. But I think I was listening to the Off Track podcast yesterday from Vivian and Kat and them, and they're talking about it. I understand when you're up at the top, why taking home less as one of those higher performing athletes definitely has an impact. But for me, I know I've got work to do from a performance perspective to have any kind of complaint or grounds for a complaint around the amount of money. But I think generally, right, like even the opportunity to go overseas multiple times a year, if we look at the calendar now, right, you've got 2 trips to Europe potentially before the new year, 2 trips to Asia in the first half of next year if you're planning to race in Bangkok and then in Hong Kong. And thankfully, the influx of new brand opportunities and platform to share your story, to inspire the millions now of athletes that are getting into the space. I think the pie is obviously growing, and in total, there's plenty of opportunity to be had if you're willing to pour into it.
I was sent a message that turned my head a little bit that we will absolutely discuss on the Not So Live show. So Cheryl, if you're listening to this, which I think you are, Cheryl tunes in, I think, pretty much every week. Dave, maybe he comes in and out. But they said, if you look at just the money, it's the wrong way to look. Because if you were to ask yourself, did they put more into the Elite 15 like setup every year? Yes. Do they put more into the live streams every year? Yes. Do they put more into, I know she joked about the plants, but like there is a leveling up that we know will continue to rise.
Mhm.
They're not going to like, okay, all of a sudden, where you guys hang out is going to be a shack, right? So they are in fact investing more, and that money is a piece of it. And I'm not saying it should be one or the other, but it definitely made me think, you know what, you're right. You can't say they don't care. You can't say they're not investing in the sport. I mean, Cheryl, it actually kind of proves Cheryl's point more now that I think about it, of the reality TV of like, well, it looks good. But again, it's like Dave pointed out, Dylan and Cheryl are essentially saying the same thing, but just the way Cheryl phrased it, I think some people didn't love. Steven didn't, and Dylan definitely didn't.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Is there a conversation that you had with Steven and Dylan that?
Well, I haven't. They were going back and forth in the comments. Well, Steven did DM me, and I think I'm fine saying that. We're not sharing nuclear secrets. And so I said, well, just listen to the whole thing at least. Like, don't just listen to the 2 sentences she said about reality TV, because like that's what I'm going to put on the clip. It's like, I can't put 2-minute clip. Here's a 30-second clip. Go listen to the rest. Is that a little clickbaity? Maybe. But, I think I do a pretty good job of not doing that, of giving you like not a complete bullshit quote out of context. Anyhow, they found fault with it. And again, I think they're not opposed what they're saying. Dylan was saying, you don't see a lot behind the scenes. I'm a part of this elite working group. They do listen. That was a lot of what Dylan was saying. They have made good changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the big hurdle, and this is talked about in all of these conversations around leveling up the sport so much as the spectacle, the judging piece. And I don't know how you fix that problem. Some of the stuff seems avoidable, some unavoidable. Hopefully they can continue to work the kinks out there. But I think even just reflecting on the number of issues in the World Championship men's race specifically, I think about the Charlie Bottrell debacle is just super disappointing. But I think otherwise, yeah, I'm very much in your camp.
I don't, if you're asking me to rate, I think a machine malfunctioning and falling is not as bad as DQing the guy that left an Eric half a second early, a quarter of a second early. To me, that's what's not forgivable. And they're like, well, we changed the rule now, so everybody knows. And it's like, well, that's not what I meant, right? Like, that's not. And again, especially when, I mean, it feels like we just talk about the same thing, so I kind of hate to even bring it up, but especially when we hear this, well, the judge said go anyway, and so then you're going to punish me for being told the wrong information, or like, can you even prove it? It was like, it had happened to somebody else in the race before, where like, the thing clearly rolls over to well over 1,000, and so it's just punishment fit the crime, that kind of stuff. To me, that's what I would call own goals situation. Like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. We used to be very upset about poor judging, and I'd much rather have a few wall balls get through. That's like, oh no, he's not at depth. I'd much rather have that than stuff that affects a whole fucking race, like, nitpicking the BBJs, or stuff that judges feel like they're making themselves the issue rather than like, let's let the race happen.
Yeah.
That's to me where it's at. And again, they are investing more in that. We just spent a long time talking about the money they're spending on head judges and core judges. That's all great stuff. And again, as a guy that followed obstacle racing for 10 years, 12 years, like, what a breath of fresh air. That's all we were asking for in obstacle racing. Please spend $5 on judging, let alone thousands and thousands of dollars in flights and getting that right. So they're doing an awful lot of things right. And we mostly if I posted every complaint that people send me, it would be, people complain about way worse. Like I've said multiple times, I don't care if they didn't mail your flag. I'm sorry. Just get over it, move on with your life.
Mhm.
But people people complain an awful lot. Like
Yeah.
that's not a sign of corporate greed. That's just not great customer service, and get over it.
Yeah. Well, the standard has just risen so much, right? Like there's
Yes.
really nothing to compare it to. It's like people expect perfection because on so many fronts, that's kind of how you feel, right? You go race for the first time, and anyone I'll talk to, they're kind of skeptical about signing up for a HYROX. It's like you cross that finish line. I promise you, give it 30 minutes after you catch your breath and clean yourself up. You're going to want to do another one because you felt like you just had the most incredible experience. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. They're doing a lot of good things.
It is going to be interesting to see who's going to go. Like who's going to go to all of them? Like who's going to go to Tampa, Nashville, DC? What's the other East Coast one? I guess New York, but that's not till the end of the season. So,
Boston.
when's Boston?
October.
Yeah, so there's a ton right there. I mean, let's look at the calendar. Let's bring it up. I can't bring up my personal calendar. I have too many things on there, but I know if I can peek at it, that's where I have them all listed. So Salt Lake City. First is DC, but I don't have DC on my calendar anymore because I'm traveling. So DC is in 2 weeks, right? Or 3 weeks.
3.
Then Salt Lake City, the 19th of September, October 1st, Toronto, October 8th, Boston. Nothing for a week. Then Tampa, the 23rd, Mexico City, the 30th, Denver 2 weeks later, Dallas the week after that, Anaheim 2 weeks after that, Nashville the week after that. Holy shit.
And then Vancouver.
So yeah, so there's going to be some racing going on. And there'll be some people who don't, right? Like I think Rich Ryan has talked about, like he can't travel that much for doubles necessarily even, but I think there's enough actually. He can hit Denver and Salt Lake and Anaheim. He can hit the West Coast ones, I think. Maybe Vancouver. By the way, people were very upset last year. They're like, oh, it's a week before Christmas and nobody's going. It's like, first of all, they didn't sell out, but 10,000 people went. And this year they just added a day. So no one cares. Like you can put it on a holiday. You can put it on, like, is it ideal to race on a Wednesday? No. I specifically sold my Denver because I was on a Wednesday. I was like, I'd rather go to Dallas on a Saturday. But people are going to go. So people are going to go.
Yeah, I was there last year and I had the same thought. It's obviously a little bit sticky with anyone working a corporate job, right? The 99.9% of people going who work, like it's going to be tough at the end of the year. But Vancouver is such an awesome city. It's pretty temperate in terms of the weather, right? You're probably dressing a little bit warmer if you're coming from anywhere up north. And like you said, it's a little bit of a quieter venue. The venue last year was fantastic. And whatever they did with to manage the turf, they seem to have like a tape underneath the sled push turf that eliminated any kind of like bunching or like riding up or waving of the turf. It was a great event overall and a great way, great reason too to stuff your face over the holidays after you go kick your ass in HYROX.
Yeah, I just think we're at that point. Last year they did Atlanta over the Halloween weekend. They're like, well, people don't want to race on Halloween. I'm like, plenty of people want to race on Halloween. Trick or treating's at night, one night. Like, what are you talking about? People aren't like. I'm sure there's people whose whole lives is around their Halloween weekend, but many who aren't. Especially anyone under 35 without kids. It's like go to the race, then go drink, whatever. So yeah, they can do it kind of whenever and it doesn't matter. Maybe the week of the Super Bowl, I would recommend they not do it. It might be the only time I would say don't do it Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe. But they probably do actually do it on Super Bowl Sunday now that I think about it.
Thinking of football though, have you heard any rumblings of new stadium races?
We got what I posted was everything that's out there, and I included New York, which isn't on the calendar, but we all know it's coming. And I included one more that was like a maybe. I forget which one. And I said, this is not the official schedule. This is just what I found out. We're not going to see anything new in the spring. Like, I don't think there's anything else left that they could, like, maybe fall of 27. we could get like something else. Like Vegas, we thought would be the stadium this year since it's a major, and it's not. Is Vegas the major? Vegas is the major, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not. It's back at Convention Center.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're hearing rumors, let me know. But I got
I
a pretty good line.
wish.
I got a
wish
pretty good
that-
line on this.
Yeah, that was an epic event last year. Obviously, like the economics of it, I don't understand. That's beyond my view, but that would be epic. Plus, that stadium is just like a spaceship. So getting in there would have been really cool.
Did you come to Atlanta? Did you see our spaceship? We got a pretty big one.
That would be epic too. I wasn't in Atlanta last year, but yeah, when is that event this year? Is it back to the spring?
It's back to the spring, yeah. They it didn't sell out, and it was like weird when they announced it, but I guarantee it'll be this time. Even though we don't have as many HYROX gyms as we should, I am now starting to see in my feed like sims all the time. Like it used to be, if there was a sim, I'd be like, shit, I gotta go. And now it's like, oh, there's already another sim on that day somewhere else. So yeah, I think we're at the point now where 3 days minimum and mostly 4, right? And sometimes 5, right? Isn't that what Vancouver just got? A 5th?
Thursday,
or maybe a
Friday.
4th?
4. I know Nashville's 5. That's going to be a massive event.
It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
Better timing too. I feel like more naturally people will want to wind down their year at that event, hit Broadway for a night, make a good weekend out of it.
yeah. Yeah, but no, I haven't heard any other stadium rumors. If that's what you're, I thought we were going to get more, but again, maybe the economics don't really work. But I talked to Christian last year in Phoenix, and I said, "Will you come back here?" And he was like, "We'll come back here every year." Like, basically, he said they don't have a lot. Like, they have football 8 times, few concerts, and other than that, wide open. And he said they were basically like not begging for us, but pretty happy to have us. So I think we're going to get Phoenix every year, which maybe then we'll always get that as a major, but I think they want to move them. I think they'll probably want to put it back to Chicago or Dallas.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Dallas.
They could do Jerry World, right?
Yeah. That venue gets way too tight. Last year in Dallas was...
Where was it last year, though? The convention center.
The same convention center, but walking that floor as a spectator. And then I remember at the end of the weekend, we did a relay. And even just how congested everything was, or looking at the course, it looked like it was going to be chaos. The course ran okay for doubles. We ran that doubles race against Jake and Hunter, and then Steven and Dylan a week after Chicago. But just in the venue was incredibly stuffy. And I'm sure this year will be just as packed, if not more. But
well, according to High Result, my go-to source, you've raced with 9 people. Most recently and most popularly, Jack D, but you can no longer race with Jack D. So who are we going with in 2026?
TBD. For now, I'm just chasing some solo results and trying to climb my way up the leaderboard. And then we'll see what happens a little later in the year.
I'm guessing it's going to be Cole and Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah. Cole and I raced once, and then he and Fred ran as well. And pretty undeniable, that result. So I think they're going to play it out, and we'll see what happens.
You and Cole did 50-01.
Yeah.
What did he do with Freddie?
48-39.
Well, it's not much better.
See, here's my silver lining.
And I know, by the way, we know times don't matter as much, but it's still kind of a baseline.
Yeah. Well, you're familiar with Martin Enhoven's website, Pro HYROX Stats?
Yes.
So the one thing that I love most about that website is the speed calculation for each venue, which is just...
Let's pull that up.
I don't know how he's measured these things, but looking at times at each venue and then adding the multiplier, factoring in the multiplier of speed for that venue, I got 20 seconds difference between Cole and I's time and Fred and Cole's time. Now, Cole buried me. I gotta own that up front. But I do like to think that there's a little less than a minute and 30 seconds or whatever it was separation in time there.
Pro HYROX Stats only has 146 followers. What is wrong with you people? Get on it. I'm giving him a shout out right now. Let's share some screenage. Have a look. Dude, there's so many. I get hit up every day now. Apps, coaching programs. That HYROX official Facebook page, which started in the UK, which they've never moderated, unfortunately, is all bullshit. Like, they wouldn't let you post. Like, if I posted something about DECA, they would not allow it, but they literally allow. And so now that's all it is. It becomes most of these things, which I used to call blog dumping grounds. Nobody writes blogs anymore, but it's mostly I'm a photographer. Let me shoot you, and or here's my coaching program. So it's essentially a useless group. So if you're going to moderate, that's the one thing you should moderate is the sales, and then let people have real questions like, hey, I'm new, I'm looking at people to race with, or then you can suggest your gym or whatever, and people kind of weed out like who's just spammy and who's a real person, and they'll say you should definitely go to this coach. I use RMR, they're great, but it's all self-promotion and garbage. There, rant over. I'm now going to pull up Pro Photo Stats. What's it called?
Pro HYROX Stats.
Where is it? Where is the part you're talking about, the speed part?
Okay, so what do we got here?
Is it a strength of field or ELO rankings?
Course speed.
Course speed. All right. I remember he and I talked about ELO rankings. I had him on the show. Did I have him on the show? I think I did. Okay, so we're looking at, this is tiny on the screen, so it's hard for you to see probably, but what we're looking at is Oberhausen 2019 is plus 7.8. That means it's a very fast course. It's a very slow course.
Very fast.
Okay. Its PB rate is 75%. Why is Incheon 100% if it's slower at 6.3?
See, this is where there's some uncertainty around how this is calculated. I know, or what I'm understanding, Martin's a very sharp guy, so I'm sure there's some explanation to this, but I think at the bottom there may be an explanation, or if you hover over the speed, there may be some kind of formula for how this is all measured.
Yeah, because we know the fastest courses are the ones where we just got all the fucking world records two races back to back, right? What were the two races back to back last?
Warsaw
and the world champs. Was it Warsaw and the world champs, or Warsaw and something else?
No, I mean Phoenix. We saw
Phoenix, yeah, Phoenix and Warsaw. We're like,
here we go. It's a full breakdown.
PB rate, the share of qualifying finishers who beat their best time from the previous year. Well, there's no way it could be 100%. 100, that can't be possible. Every single person?
Garbage data.
Yeah, this isn't real. Sorry, we just pumped you up, and now we're saying this isn't real.
I'm buying it. I like what we got here.
Well, where are those races? Let's find 2025 and 2026. They're not even in here. Is he up to date? Warsaw's way down here. I mean, I guess the way you would look at it is how many athletes. So if there's only, no, this can't be right because this is 11. I thought this was the number of athletes. So Incheon 24 would have less athletes than a world champs. World champs would have a much higher percentage of people who previously ran. So the number of PBs would probably be less.
Right.
From a data point. But anyway, it tells you that you're fast is your point, right?
Yeah, you're just benchmarking performances, right? Like I started my year this past year in Vancouver, which at the time I didn't understand how much of an outlier it was from a course speed perspective. And then you race a little bit more and your times regress. And on paper, you're thinking like, oh, am I getting worse? But you have a set of data like that and you're like, it's pretty hard to argue against some of the dynamics that make follow-up times slower, right? There's always just more to the picture than just the time. And we know that,
but this is why we like a system of doing well and then who you race against. And that's what eventually matters, right? So it's like, what your best is on any given day. And the thing that people say and usually don't mean, which is, I just want to race my best and see how it goes. And then their post-race thing is filled with 27 excuses, amount of sleep, amount of food they ate, flight times, thing that happened in training that they're niggling but bothering. It's like we all have that. Smartest thing Bracken Cracker ever said, shout out Bracken, running public, if you're not already listening to that. He said, once you get to the start line, it's all bets are off because you're on the start line and everyone is bringing something to that table. Mm-hmm. Did Dylan have the best day of his life ever at the World Championship? Is that the best he can ever run? I don't know. That day, it fucking worked out for him, right?
Yeah.
If we race that 10 times, how many different winners do you think we have in that field? 4, probably. Maybe 6, right? So on the fucking day, you got to bring it. You know, I think Jack D, your buddy, famously said, I cooked too soon. I raced all these times, and then when it came time to perform, I kind of pooped the bed a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So it's all part of it, right? And the
Yeah.
good news, I guess, or I don't know if it's good or bad news, but just generally is you guys are figuring out how to be a pro athlete, right? Like, okay, what does it mean? How do I make the year, right? How do I mean, you know, Hunter's tried 12 different things, get heavier, get thinner, get leaner, you know? And so it's like, you got to figure all this stuff out. That's what makes a champ or a mid packer or a mid 15er.
Hopefully that's not the pinnacle, the mid 15.
Listen, I hope it's not too, but I'm definitely titling this episode that, and we're going to make it a thing. So there you go.
We'll run with it.
We're going to
I'll take credit for it. I'll take credit for it.
I will always credit you.
A badge of honor. Yeah, no, it's funny. Dylan and I were actually going back and forth about this not long ago because you see some of the times of these Asian races, and the narrative seems to be that they're very humid, they run slow, like even Ronk, right? I'm looking at his run plus rock zone total. I said to Dylan, what is going on here? How do we have a 2-minute variation in the total time he spent running and on the rock zone when we're supposed to have standardization across that, right? And his point was just, you know, competing at this level, you need to have your own benchmarks for your improvement outside of time. And I think when you're getting started, like it's very easy, and the number one thing you're going to look at is your race result time. And most times, if you're consistent and new to something, you're going to see newbie gains. But when you're competing with thin margins and the ability to improve on a time or in the test is so limited, you really just have to benchmark, like you said, how you do relative to the field of the best in the world at the thing, right? So for Dylan, he knows he's improving if he's beating the same guys on the same day with the same conditions. And to a lesser extent, you know, that's kind of where the focus has shifted for me as well. It's like you're going to see the same guys at the events all through the year. How many times can you beat them out of 10, right? And if that's going up over time, you're probably doing the right things.
Yeah, I mean, and I think was he second to Ronk 2 or 3 times last year before that? So it's like if you're beating everybody but Ronk, and then at Worlds you fucking, you know,
yeah,
win the lottery, your day of days comes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you said you do want to focus on singles, although I feel like you're going to finish singles and then be like, fuck, I want to race tomorrow. And you see all your boys out there, right?
Yeah. Well, Isaac Sanderson recently joined the first form team as well.
Another Canadian.
He's got his sights set right now on the Leadville 100 in a couple weeks here. I know that's quickly approaching. And he said, we could go run a doubles early in the fall, but I'm probably going to be cooked for a little bit. So that's someone who is top the list. We'll probably go race at some point, but
he's young. He can do both.
Yeah. I mean, he'll definitely be cooked to some extent, but
listen, Rogloski drops a 100-miler on Saturday. Sunday, she'll show up. Come on, let's go, Isaac.
And what's she doing right now? Riding horses?
She's riding a horse for 10 days across Mongolia because, of course, she is.
Yeah, some new challenge. But we'll probably race at some point. I actually loved running mixed doubles with the previously mentioned Lindsay Bessagato at World Champs. We qualified for Worlds in Toronto last year. She ran pro singles, I think 90 minutes before we raced. I had just been sick for 2 months, and it was like my second week of consistent physical activity back. And we knew we had a ton of opportunity to improve at Worlds, but the mixed doubles dynamic is a ton of fun. And I'm sure Lindsay and I will probably race together again. So that'll be some extra opportunity to race through the year for sure.
Do you have a day job, or did you have a day job till recently? Have we talked about this?
I am at my day job right now. I work in software sales. I'm a sales director.
Okay.
As of now, I'm working corporate as of now, but we will see where things progress in the next few weeks.
Are you a fan of Salesforce?
We use Salesforce every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to Dreamforce?
I have not.
Fun fact, I've mentioned this a few times. I used to own a staffing company. I staffed Dreamforce in 2010 and 11. So like the people that like check you in at Reg, like that people are talking about recently about this whole idea of hiring staffing companies, that's what I did. And that was the biggest job I ever did, was staffing that thing 2 years in a row. We needed like 500 people. It was insane.
Is that in Atlanta?
No, it's in San Francisco. It's at the Moscone Center. It's massive.
Oh, okay.
And now it might be like, now it's probably even bigger. Like this was 2010, 2011. And like, you know, like corporations, like these big conventions, they always have massive bands that play like at the end. Like they got like Metallica one year. I mean, it was nuts. Metallica's like, we live here. We'll make 250 grand to fucking perform at the end of a fucking stupid Salesforce convention.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's interesting you bring that up, right? It's super front of mind, I think, for myself, but for a lot of other athletes that are exploring like opportunity in a full-time capacity to explore fitness and take a deeper dive on it. For yourself, I mean, what would you say to an aspiring athlete or folks in a position similar to mine? Because obviously you made the jump from the role that you had previously to now chasing your passion above anything else.
Well, I'm one of these people that's, I think the term is unhirable. So I kind of come by it honestly that I've always worked for myself and kind of like too stubborn to quit. And I just, because I know people who made really good money. Okay, perfect example. I had a friend, really sharp guy, worked for corporations forever, you know, at age whatever, 32, 34, was like, I'm gonna start my own business. And he chose to open a cell phone store, and in 8 months he closed it. And it's like, well, first of all, you got to go more than 8 months, right? Like you gotta be willing to take the hit, ego wise and money wise, to do anything, right? Content creator, plumber, whatever it is, you got to put in the work, right?
Yeah.
But you know, the athlete thing is a whole other thing, right? Because it's not just the not working, it's how much time you have to put into the training and travel. Did you look at Tara's post?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Is that about commensurate? And like, would you say that's about what you spend on travel?
I'd imagine. Yeah. I haven't been as tight with the budget, but maybe I should be.
Well, listen, I used to like, you know, sleep on couches. I can't do that anymore. But again, I think I'm someone that wasn't as successful as I was until later in life. And I feel like for me, like some people say, I remember the first time I heard a guy say, you know, I've never had any problems making money. And he may as well have said, you know, I've walked on the moon, you know, just from here. I woke up, I was like, what? Like, cause to me, it was like this puzzle I couldn't figure out. Why am I always broke? Why do I owe everybody money? So for me, getting married and having kids was like, oh, you got to pay the rent. Like you got to get some shit done. So I think that subconsciously and consciously just got me to just work really fucking hard at something. Mm-hmm. But I'm probably not the best person to talk to, like the switch from non-athlete to full-time athlete. But I can tell you that anything takes time and that people quit too soon. You know, I watch, like there's 100 podcasts, there's 100 video channels, and most of those will not be around in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. So you have to outlast all those people. That's the thing more than anything. It's like you gotta outlast. You gotta not quit. I mean, none of this sounds like groundbreaking advice, but it's kind of the biggest one. Is like when people talk about content and they say, well, be consistent. What does consistent mean? Well, if it means every day for you, great. If you can't do every day, do 5 times a week. If you can't do 5 times a week, do 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, I have no, like, if you look at my stuff exactly, I don't have a number of posts I do a week or a number of articles I do a week. This past 2 weeks, I've been fascinated with FitLab and Ragnar going out of business. So may or may not go out of business. So like, that's what I've spent my last 2 weeks doing. So I don't know. Does that help at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's simple, right? And I think that applies to so many things. It's one of those things where it's simple, but it's not easy. but like it applies to anything. If somebody was to ask, how do I get into running, right? The advice would be very similar, and like, you need to be consistent. I'd advise you go out and do 3 or 4 15-minute run walks to start and be consistent with that. Then try and extend your one weekly run from 10 to 20 to 30K. Like, that is just not going to build the habit. But yeah, I think it's just interesting to see, right? Like, you see, obviously Dylan is at a level in the sport where it made perfect sense for him to go fully in on fitness. And as an athlete, as a coach to some extent, you see Kat that's made that move. Morgan has made that move and has gotten incredibly resourceful in building out Formed app. Not super familiar, but just seeing that evolution, right? It's really just like, you got to go all in and get creative in how you're going to make it work.
We're in the best time ever to do that.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time, the brands and the races and the leagues had all the power. And now you can be your own platform, right? Mm-hmm. So Kat and Morgan don't need to get hired by ESPN or CBS to put on a show. Like, we're going to put on a show, right? And that's the other thing is, I hate to say this, athletes, but you do have a limited window, right, to be an athlete. So what are you going to do during that time to make sure that you build something that lasts? I mean, I think Hunter was smart enough to figure that out a few years ago. Like, hey, at 40, I'm not going to be the best at this anymore. Even a guy like him who thinks he's the best at everything was like, shit, I better start doing something. Guy launches, his own coaching, his own supplements. I'm not saying everyone can afford to do that because there's a cost but like, that's what you need to look at, right? I mean, I'm not a planner. I have been winging this since day one, pretty much. So I have no exit strategy. I have no plan B. But yeah, I just, again, like, whatever I lack in planning, I make up in just fucking going for it. And so, I used to read every business book. I used to listen to gurus, and now every fucking guru is a huckster. It's like, I don't believe any of these fucking people. Like,
just move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the nugget I'm taking from this conversation, and I'll slap on the fridge. You won't be an athlete forever. So what are you doing in that time when you can be one? Right.
Right. Yeah. All right, man. Well, listen, glad we got to talk.
Me too.
All right. See you later.
See ya.